Hello, hello there, my crafty friends. It's Candy here with SweetStamper.com. And I am so excited to be here with you today. This is day 2 of my summer stamp camp. And if you want to know what a summer stamp camp is, it is a set of classes if you do this in person. And for me being online, it is kind of a class every night. So I'm doing a kind of an online class every night, Monday through Friday this week, and really just digging into a lot of different things. We're going to be changing it up from time to time. So first 2 nights, we're really digging into Designer Series paper partly because I love working with it, partly because we have an amazing sale going, and that continues through the end of the month. So we are almost at the end of the month. So you are going to want to grab these 15% savings while you can. Now we are also in the midst of a starter kit promotion. So you can add any of these to your starter kit and get even more for your money. So it's an incredible value. This is most of the Designer Series papers in the annual catalog. Not all of them, but most of them. And they're all 15% off. So we used, hey Laura, hey Corinne, I'm glad you're here. We used Inked Botanicals last night, used the exact same set of supplies to make these 2 cards, what I like to call strippy cards, because we used strips of Designer Series paper. And we used Masterfully Made for this card. And this one, you could just use strips, but what I did here was I used a piece of really busy Designer Series paper. Hey, Barbara, I'm glad you're here. And I cut it into strips so that it would break up the pattern a little bit and keep it from overwhelming, which I find sometimes these really busy patterns can do. And that's what I'm going to start with tonight, is another one of these really busy patterns. So this was last night. Now you know that if you are a subscriber with my email news, you would have received all of these tutorials free. I sent them out this morning. And so make sure you are on my email list so that you will get those. This is my host code. And if you place an order anytime this week, Monday through Friday, you're going to get the project packets that I'm going to do on Thursday. So, hey, Velma, I'm glad you are here. So once again tonight, I'm going to kick off with Masterfully Made. We're doing another set of projects that feature Designer Series papers and ways to use them so that you are either using up your scraps, which I'm going to do on the second card, or breaking up really busy patterns, which I'm doing on the first card. No. Let me get myself organized here. Hey, Pat, I'm glad you're here. First one I'm going to do here. So we're going to talk about using up little scraps. So this is Delightfully Eclectic. Now, you might think that that's all of it, but look, this set of Designer Series paper, again, 15% off right now. Look at all the patterns. It is, they just run the gamut, and these are front and back. Lots and lots of colors, and they're just really delightful to work with. So let me show you where I'm going to go. This card was the result of mystery stamping for my team meeting. Hey, Margaret, I'm glad you're here. So you might wonder, what is mystery stamping? Well, Terry Lynn is our mystery stamping hostess each month, and she gives us dimensions, and then we just make whatever we're going to make. And we can choose stamp sets, punches or no punches, embellishments, whatever we want. And so that's why it's called a mystery. And I chose this stamp set, which I really like. I Like You, So You Get a Card. This is a fun little way to send just a simple handmade card. And I love, love, love this stamp set. I've done several things with it. So what I'm going to do is I call this a color block card. I don't really know what else to call it. I'm going to do another version of this and show you a different way to do it. So I did use Delightfully Eclectic here. And this is, again, all about the dimensions. And I'm using just front and back of this piece. And I'm using Misty Moonlight, which is the dark blue here. And I'm just going to lay these out in opposite patterns and lay these down. So to me, this is like a color block. And then we're going to have a little bit of fun with the middle. So let's start here. And then I am actually going to use my liquid glue. Y'all know I tend to use my seal, but sometimes when you're placing these pieces of designer series paper, you have to kind of shift it like I did last night, and it's easier to shift when you've got the green glue. So there's a little bit more wiggle room with it. So, hey Gail, I'm glad you are here. So this is just opposite sides of the same set of designer series paper. Now, you know, you could just go through your scraps and see what you have that coordinates together. I do find that this color block works best when you just have 2 patterns. To me, if you have 4 patterns, it's a little bit too much. So let me show you what we're going to do now. So I'm going to do things a little bit different and a little bit the same. So I really like this I Like You. So I'm going to use the same greeting that I did the first time. And I'm going to use Night of Navy ink on this piece of Misty Moonlight. But before I do that, I'm going to do something kind of fun here. So I'm going to take, this is called, I don't know, Very Best Trio. Yay, it has a label on it. So I'm going to take Very Best Trio Punch, and I'm going to take my piece of cardstock, and I'm going to feed it into the top there and not have it shift. Whoopsie. Push hard. And then I'm going to flip it over this way so that I don't want a mirror image. I want the same piece twice. And then I'm going to do it again. Hey, Carol from South Carolina, welcome, welcome. I'm going to be in Virginia next week visiting my older grandchildren, so I'm getting super excited. I've already got my clothes laid out, and you know, I'm a last minute Lucy when it comes to packing. I usually don't do that, but I'm just super excited. So this is kind of a fun pattern that I've created using that punch. So you can see how I'm just kind of getting it a little bit fancier and doing something a little bit, you know, a little bit more interest. So that's one of the neat things you can do with that Very Best Trio Punch. If you don't already have it, I would recommend you adding it to your shopping list. Now I'm going to take I Like You and just add it right here on the far side of my punched little label. And now I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. Now I do have something I'm going to put there. That's why I've put it over on the right. I think I forgot to get my embellishment pack, so let me grab that. I'm going to use the same embellishments that I did the first time, and that is these, oh, here we go. That one's not open yet. These flat adhesive back pearls. These are really, really iridescent, and they're great for mailing because they're super flat. So now I have this little label here, and it's super easy to center because I'm just taking these little ends. Now, I have used this Petal Park Builder Punch. This was in our spring catalog, and it carried over. And I went ahead and punched out some flowers in Night of Navy. Let's see if I can, well, that's a different, I was kind of playing with different, well, do I have my little, I don't think I have the little one in here. I'm not sure I don't think I'm going to use that. So there's 3 different ones plus the leaf. So I'm just going to kind of crunch this up a little bit and pop it right there. Crunch this one up a little bit. Hey, Jackie, I'm glad you are here. And I'm just going to use a glue dot to stick these down. So there's this. This is the smallest flower and the largest flower, and just kind of crunched up a little bit. And I don't think I want to put that on another dimensional since this is already on dimensionals. So I think I'll just add a couple of glue dots to make sure it really stays down. I'm going to pop that right there like so. Fluff up the petals a little bit. And then just grab this large flat pearl. Well, make sure I have all of the adhesive with it. And there we go. Super, super simple. Just a couple of punches. A color block card, again, using the same designer series paper, using all the same dimensions and everything, to create a simple card with a lot of flair featuring our fabulous designer series paper. So tell me if you like the left or the right, which is your favorite. Oh, I forgot to put the inside. I have to do the inside. Okay, here we go. I like you, so you get a card. Did I already put this away? No? Let's see. I've been so organized, and all of a sudden I can't find, there it is. So you get a card. I'm using, okay, Laura likes them both. Carol likes the one on the right, the fancier one. And I think it just kind of shows you that if you don't have the ability to make that fancy label, you can still have, you know, just a super simple dimensions. Okay, Lisa likes the one on the right. Velma likes the one on the left. This makes my heart happy when people like them both, because that means there's merit to both. And these are also cards, you know, if you needed to make a stack of cards, these would be super simple, because once you have the measurements, you know, you just start cutting and you're there. So once again, this is using Stamped with Love. If you don't have this stamp set yet, you're going to want to get it. It's super fun to use. Okay, so there's card number 1 using color block, what I call a color block of designer series paper. Basically scraps in your designer series paper bin to make something fun, really fun, but simple. Okay. Now we are going to go back to this masterfully made, I mean, I love the bundle and I love the paper. Not sure I'd use them together. But this paper, I love it, but it's really, really strong. And I'm using this piece here. This is what I have left because I'm starting with a 12 by 4 inch piece. Hi, Carol. Welcome, welcome, and welcome to Tasha. So this, again, is all about the dimensions. It's all about, you know, measuring. And I have already cut everything out here to break up this paper. So I started with this paper, I cut it, and look what happens when you put crushed curry behind it. So all I've done is I've picked up one of the colors here and added it as a layer. This is actually called triple time stamping. This is a little bit of an old school. Triple time stamping has been around for a while. It's all about the dimensions. And again, you get the dimensions. I'm going to give you the PDF tutorials, not even just the dimensions, but the supply list, the instructions, and for all of these cards, if you're a newsletter subscriber. So this is just super, super simple. Great way to use designer series paper and a great way to break up a really busy pattern. I love the colors in this. But when you look at this, I mean, there's a lot going on there. So by breaking it up with these layers behind it, it really, I think, makes the paper itself, calms it down a bit, and also kind of breaks up that pattern a bit. I think it actually makes it look better. Now we're going to do 2 of these at the same time, and I'm going to ask you to tell me which color you like the best. I have a feeling I know what it's going to be. So I did another set, and I grabbed another color out, and this one is the new Azure Afternoon. So I've done one in the yellow, and I've done one in the blue. Again, just picking up some of the colors out of here. If you look here, I had a lot to choose from because I think in this piece of Designer Series paper, I think they're all, maybe not the pecan pie, but almost all these colors are in this piece. So this, I'm just going to layer this up. And you see how you're really just making a little mat, mat with your cardstock. So when I use my 12 by 4 piece and I break it down like this with my triple time measurements, I'll show you what I have left. Not much. So it's a really good use of your paper. And yeah, Velma, you like using this template. Yeah, it's been around for quite a while. I've done it many times through the years. And I usually reach for this when I have really busy paper. I think it's a great way to utilize something that you really like, but you're like, whoa, that's a bit much. I don't know what to do with it. So this is a way to make it really shine, but not overwhelm you. So there is my blue card, and there is my yellow card. Now we're going to add a greeting. And hi, Mary, I'm glad you're here. Now remember, if you haven't gotten the memo, that I'm giving away a stamp set for every one of my videos this week. So make sure that you're commenting so you go into the drawing. Now I used this piece, this exact 12 by 4 piece, and all I have left is this and this. So it really, really utilizes the paper. Now, I mean, if I wanted to, I technically could use something like this to add the greeting, but to me, it's a little bit much. So I think I would be better off to maybe put this on the inside like so. I think I might do that. That's actually kind of pretty. So let's just go ahead and do that. And then we're going to add the greeting, and we're going to use some punches again. So this, both the patterns I'm using tonight, just use stamped ink and paper, one of those papers being designer paper, and then some punches. So this is really, again, all about the math. Just like last night, the cards I did last night, it's just all about the math, and then it's a matter of arranging your patterns on the first card. On these, it's already done for you. So you're just layering them up, and let's see what we're going to do. So what I wanted to do was I wanted a simple birthday card. I reached for Seasonal Branches. This has some great greetings on it. And this little happy birthday wishes. So I'm going to use Night of Navy ink again. This has a little bit of navy, but I wanted something really bold, really strong, and that would give me a high contrast. Okay, so Barbara, you like that yellow. Very eye-catching. It is bright, but I think it's, this is very sunshiny. I think you get a very different mood. This is a little bit more subtle, a little bit more subdued. This one's very bright and happy, but I have to confess, I really like them both. So this is Happy Birthday Wishes. Just a simple greeting. Hey, Karen, I'm glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. So that is really all the stamping. I could put something else on the inside if I wanted to, an extra greeting, but honestly, I have just enough space in there to write my happy birthday greetings, and that is it. Look at there. I even got my blog post done last night. So, you know, the video from last night is in there, and the still photos of the cards. Now you have to be a newsletter subscriber to get all the measurements, because I sent the PDF tutorials out this morning. So make sure, if you are not a subscriber, that you do that. Now I'm going to use the little smooth oval here, my trusty oval dual, what's it called? Double oval punch. And then I have already punched, because I was kind of expediting my process here. I have already punched a couple of navy, Night of Navy, with the kind of the ruffled edge. And then I'm going to pop these up on dimensionals. But before I do that, let's see, I might just add another punch. I got to thinking about it. I thought maybe it needs a little bit more presence. So what I thought I could do is kind of change things up a little bit, and maybe I could add another punch underneath there. Not sure if that's too much. I could do it in the same color, like so. I think honestly maybe I just need to leave it alone. So again, I could do it over here as well. I could just kind of add that. Gives it a little bit more presence. So Tasha, I'm glad you said you need some of my creativity. So that's why I give you the PDF tutorials, because then you have the measurements. You can do this with any paper you already have. Add a greeting, boom, you're done. So that's what I love doing, is really equipping you, giving you the basics, and then you can just run with it. So I think on this one, I'm just going to add it like so. And then what would happen if we just amped it up a little bit by using this gorgeous, this is that new Azure Afternoon. Let's see what happens if we add some of this Azure Afternoon ribbon. Okay, I've got a lot of people loving that yellow. Margaret likes the yellow too. So let's see if we can just take this blue ribbon and add a little bit of oomph. And I like this blue ribbon because it's really soft, easy to tie with, and it has just a little hint of silver, just like a little silver ribbon that's shot through there, or like a thread, really, not even a ribbon. Now let's grab a couple of mini glue dots, lay this down, and we have a really, I think, a pretty snazzy looking card, you know, really simply made as a happy birthday card. You could add some rhinestones if you want, but I think it's really kind of nice just the way it is. So Dolores likes them both. So let's see, do we want to add that layer underneath? I'm not sure we do. The ribbon that I thought we would do here is to bring in a little bit of gold. So I think honestly that Misty Moonlight kind of dulls it. I think I like that. Yeah, don't like the extra die cut. Thank you, Corinne. Yeah, it did seem a little bit dark. So this is that gold and silver combo trim. This is part of the online exclusive. So that means it's not in your catalog, but it is in the online store. And you get a roll of gold and silver. And I like it a lot. It's a little bit stiff, which just means that it's going to stand up nicely. See how that just adds a little bit of shine? So let's just go with a couple of dimensionals. And I do realize that I had prepped my, I had cut my designer paper before we started, but I mean, we are 20 minutes in and I have made 3 cards. So you know, if you go in with a plan, you can come out with a lot of great cards. Personally, I need like a layout or a color scheme or both when I start creating. It helps me to have a little bit of a loose plan. So hopefully you're going to get my email newsletter tomorrow, and you're going to get these measurements, and you are going to just go for it and do some of your own creating. Again, this is actually called triple time. It's the name of this technique. We call it a technique, but it's really just a set of measurements. So we have the blue, we have the yellow. Isn't it interesting that this is exactly the same piece of paper, but the yellow really brings out the brighter tones and the blue really brings out the deeper tones, so that you really just get kind of a little bit more of a subdued mood here. And this one is just super bright and happy. So these are the second set of cards I did. Now this is the one I did first, and this is the one I had done previously that I was modeling after. So, so Lisa can't pick which one she likes best on the triple time, and I like that. So yeah, we didn't even need the extra. We didn't need the extra punch or die under here. And this is just using, I mean, this is a staple. You gotta have this. If you don't already have this, you need to add double oval punch to your shopping list. This is something you need to have. A lot of our smaller greetings work with it, and it's just, you know, it's a classic, and you can do so many things with it. Now, I ran these this way. You could obviously turn them this way. So, you know, the triple time, the one thing you want to be mindful of is if you have a directional designer series paper. This one is not. So again, this is what I started with, a 12x4 piece. I had this little piece left over from the 12x4, and where'd it go? This little piece here. So I could even stick that to the envelope if I wanted to use every single scrap of this. And then this one here. So I thought about turning this the other way. You see how you could just flip this around. With this one, you wouldn't have to worry because it's just flowers. This one is directional, so you can't turn it this way because your flowers are going wonky. So Lori has the double oval punch. It was the first punch you ever bought from Stampin' Up. Good choice, Lori. This is a must-have. Been around for a while, but it is an absolute treasure. Well, that is all I have for you tonight. We're going to do something totally different tomorrow night because this is the second night in a row I have camped out on designer series paper. But you know, I do love working with designer series paper. Not only is it on sale this month, but it is just my favorite, probably my favorite thing outside of stamps to work with. So remember, I do have a host code for you. And if you place an order between Monday and Friday this week using my host code, you will get the projects I'm going to demonstrate on Thursday for free. And I thank you so much for joining me tonight. Remember that if you are watching the replay, please comment replay. And if you are watching via YouTube because you're not on Facebook, or maybe you just hadn't seen it on Facebook, make sure that you give me a heart, or I think it's a thumbs up on YouTube, and subscribe to my channel. So again, if you are a subscriber to my newsletter, you will get the PDF tutorials for these. I've actually got them all done. I just have to pop the photos in, and they will go out tomorrow. You get a little bit extra emails from me this week, but I'm giving you free tutorials with each one. So I think that hopefully you will enjoy that. So I will see you again, same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow night, 7:00 p.m. Central Time. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care and God bless.